What was the question? Okay. Okay, the question is, what about rude creditors? How do you handle rude creditors? I have found that, well, first of all, there's a timeline of collections when somebody's behind on a bill, and it goes down that timeline, you know, month 1, month 2, 6 months, a year. And the further down the timeline, the more aggressive the collector becomes, especially if they hire like a collection agency. And I have found that it seems like once it goes outside of the original creditor, that's when you start dealing with some of these ruthless, rude individuals. You know, it's funny because it wasn't too long ago I saw what would be deemed as a financial guru on the Today Show. And a similar question was asked. They do this segment where they ask the questions, and I'm not going to name names, but the financial guru said, well, just work with your creditor. They're there to work it out with you. And wow, you know, you could tell the people that's never dealt with this side of the fence and people that have. The people that haven't dealt with this, a lot of your lawmakers, they just think that these creditors are just going to work things out with you and it's going to be to your benefit. It's such crap. And that's what's sad, because we have dealt with that side of it for years. And I have listened to my clients and all of their frustration. We've had creditors that claim to have made a deal with a customer, and the customer pays, you know, like in the form of a settlement. And then 3 months goes by and they go to collect the difference, and the client stated, well, you settled with me. And they, of course, say, well, where's the settlement? Where's the proof that that was done? And then the client doesn't have it. And unfortunately, can you imagine how stressful that would be? First of all, they make the person very angry, and now they're not trusting. And I understand that. So it's very important that if you do work out something with your creditor, that you get it in writing. But for the comments that are made that, oh, the creditor's just going to work with you, they're there to work things out with you. For some, yes, but for the most part, that's just not true. They're there to collect that debt, period. And if you don't have the right information, you may screw that up. So you got to be very careful as to what you do, what you say, because again, they're there to collect the debt, and they even give you that statement that they're collecting the debt. Anything you say will be for that purpose, and that's a disclosure they have to give to you. So how do you deal with the rude individuals? Well, first of all, there is a methodology to that. With me, if the person is just unreasonable, then at that point I tell them, listen, we're just trying to work this out. Our client is in some severe financial hardship. You're not being reasonable. You're yelling, and that is not going to help the matter. Money is just not going to appear. We're trying to work this out. If you don't want to work with me, well, then have a good day, and I get off the phone. Or I will ask to speak to their manager or supervisor and see if we can't get that level of profession back so that we can negotiate the debt. So my feeling is, don't let the creditor push you, because if they push you and they're going to try, they're winning and they feel that's what they're doing. You got to give it back, but you got to be careful, because I believe in that mirrored approach. If they yell and you yell, all you're doing is fueling the fire. If you yell, you make them yell, and it's not going to do you any good. So if you're married and your husband is a hothead, you got to be careful that he handles those calls. Maybe you need to handle those calls. And you can even have him sign client authorization, authorization, and it's just a statement saying he gives you authorization to discuss the account, or he can give you verbal authorization if you have to. If it's vice versa, same thing. But if you feel that you're just being bullied, then sometimes it is best to get a third party to help you out. But again, we help you choose a company that, first of all, that you can vet and make sure they're an integrous company and not out just to take, fee money. And also that you're paying for what you get for it. You don't want to be taken advantage of. But so that's how I would handle a rude individual. You just don't deal with them. Sometimes if you just, end the call, and usually it'll be another person that's going to call you anyway. Or when you call in, they're asked to speak to somebody different. Yes. Okay, I'll take another question if you have another question.